गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी आर एंटरिंग द लैंड ऑफ द अनहैप्पी Z. Why is Z unhappy? That's the question we're going to answer. And what is he unhappy about? That's the next question we're going to have answer. So, well, dive into China. But why should he be unhappy? After all, look at this. Chinese army scientists are proposing a super X-ray gun, more powerful than the Navy. Great inventions. China unveils drones that take off and land on its tail like a rocket. Something no other one in the world has got. China's speedy maglev train breaks records. US ambitions go off rail. These are the headlines which are coming. How does space affect the mind? China sends mini brain to Tianglong to find out. Oh wow, they are coming ready from Mars. Yeah, Chinese scientists develop low-cost cell therapy for cancer, asthma, and autoimmune diseases. If you want to get cured of all this, just go to China. They'll get everything sorted out. China unveils first humanoid robot that charges its own battery. Well, China is going to be a country without people. Even if people are not there, these humanoid batteries will take over. Robot. So it will be a robot economy. After all, they are the leaders in AI and EV and all that nonsense. Hey, is this the reality which people have envisioned for China or something else? It gives a feeling that as if, it's only China which does inventions. No one else does. And China is doing the only invention in the world. Others are all buffoons. Okay. You go to China, the land of milk and honey and humanoids. So you might soon see a robot drinking artificial milk got out from an artificial cow driven by AI, and there'll be no humans in China. That's where they're heading. Anyway, that's the that's the funny part of the whole story. Let's look at this. Why is Xi Jinping unhappy? And what is he unhappy about? He's unhappy about AI and EV. Why? Man, didn't he start, this high quality production and, all that 3 years back? Why is he unhappy now suddenly? I mean, it's very interesting. This is the story of China actually. They start something, make a big hue and cry about it, everyone rushes into it, it becomes clogged, and then everyone is unhappy and it is scrapped. End of story. And Chinese stories are all like this 2 year stories. Okay. So all the nonsense, you see, it's come down to this. And mind you, this has got a lot of headlines, this particular headline in FT, Business Standard, and many Western, right? But where does it come from? It's come from People's Daily. They all quote a People's Daily headline. And some interesting comments made. He says Chinese President Xi Jinping has issued an unusually blunt warning to local governments against overinvestment in artificial intelligence and electric vehicles, as vicious price wars fuel deflation. So there is a price war which is affecting China, which has prompted Xi Jinping to talk about it. And there is deflation and overinvestment. In what? These high-tech product sectors. So, it's when people say, oh, they're doing all this, yeah, whoa. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not doing it. They're doing it, but they're doing it too much. And who's saying it? It is Xi Jinping, not me. That's why I said unhappy Xi. And he's talking of something called three pat officials. I mean, very interesting. Those who pat their own heads and chests while making reckless decisions and assuring others everything is fine. And then three things they do. They pat their chest, head, say, don't worry. So pat the other fellow on his back. And then, when everything goes wrong, they pat their buttocks and go away. This is what he said, not I. Okay. And they evade responsibility. Right? And they said, look, when things go wrong, no, government will intervene. Government किस लिए है? So Xi Jinping has identified that AV, AI, EV, solar, batteries, these are all suffering from overinvestment. Then he says, look, when it comes to projects, there are a few things: artificial intelligence, computing power, and new energy vehicles. Do all provinces in the country have to develop industries in these directions? That everyone does this and nothing else? Well, Xi Jinping has got a lot of doubts on China. Look, let me put it. Let's take a step back from this whole story. What there's a whole story is about that story which I spoke about, Nijuan. What is Nijuan? Involution. I, I spoke about 2 weeks back, if you remember. Involution, that is something, it's the opposite of revolution. Well, people felt, oh yeah, take a yaar, army fellow, who does it, what does he know about economics and all? Look, I am not an economist. I think of common sense. So today Xi Jinping is talking of it. Then I stepped back and I said, look, did a bit of reflection, did a bit of culling from various articles. So these are the things which I want to mention. Why is China unhappy? Why is Xi unhappy? Chinese methods are for China. And this also goes to a lot of people in India. Oh, China is that. And we are not that. How can you compare yourself with China? China is way ahead. हम तो अभी तो रैग पिकर हैं. हम तो भाई कचड़े कुड़े उठाने वाले हैं. वो तो देव चांद पहुंच गए वो. They've reached everywhere. That's the country to emulate. A lot of people in India talk like this. But I want to tell very simple things. Chinese methods are for China. Or China's method is for Chinese. They don't suit India. Even US prescriptions for India are based on Chinese experience. What gyan you get from US, ye karo, wo karo, all that industry setup karo, manufacturing setup karo. They didn't work for China, yeah. How will it work for India? After all, see, where did China get all this gyan from? USA. And they adapted it to their whatever they did. And it's not working for them. How will it work for India? Why should China, based on what those US idiots talk, why should I adapt Chinese methods in India? It's double gyan, useless. We also need to understand there are many Chinas. There's a progressive China, there's no doubt. There's a gloomy one also. But the fundamental thing about China is it is monoethnic in nature. Call it monoethnic, monoethnic, single language, single. 95% of them are all noodles. Not India. India has got many sizes, many languages, many cultures, many religions. You get Chinese methods here, then you'll kill yourself. And we know Chinese methods come with a lot of pain, lot of fakery, unreliability. We don't need them. Why? We need Indian methods. Let them be slow. We'll go slowly, आराम से यार. जल्दी में क्या है जिंदगी? Then this Chinese Communist Party methods, it's all duplicitous. It talks of socialism, but it does not give any social benefits to its citizens. There's no social net in China. You can compare. Even in India, there's no social net. I'm not saying that there's no social net or it is weak. It is weak. Then damn well it is weak. But no country says I'll give you a social net, and I'm a socialist, but I don't do anything for society. That's the point. Our government will, strive for something. They'll strive for something. If it can't, it can't. Politicians will be corrupt. Cops will be corrupt. Things will not be delivered. Okay, but we'll keep doing. We don't say we do everything and actually don't do. You don't get votes, of course, politicians are all like that. But the Communist Party is at a different level. See, if you look back, why are these chaps talking like this? Please understand. Maybe I'm a bit philosophical, but we have to understand. When China made money, it wasted its money on infrastructure, property, high-speed rail, and a military which it does not need, and it cannot afford also. No country can afford what China has done. Everyone says China has got so much high speed rail. So what if you go from one place to the other very fast? What have you achieved? If you achieved something very good for people, it's okay. But have people happy? In China, overcapacity and wasted overcapacity is built naturally. It's nature to them. And then look at China. They've created enemies all around. And any country which is dependent on China has come to grief, including look, friend Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They're all at grief because they depended on China. Those idiots don't understand it is a different story. Why should we understand it? We should understand it, not to replicate them, to avoid them. They have a top-down innovation model. They're heavily reliant on government subsidies, investment. It is inefficient and wasteful. Government subsidies, I completely am of the view that if China's economy is going to collapse because it is subsidies. Because subsidies have come at the cost of the people, I keep telling you. And let's be very clear, technology won't replace people. Humanoids drinking milk from an artificial cow is what China is going to be. But is that a country? All this has led to what? Deflation. You say that, okay, people say, oh, why is China? There's not deflation in China. If there's not deflation in China, you go to the South China Morning Post and put deflation, you'll get this page out. China deflation. Why China's fight against cutthroat competition is different this time. Overzealous austerity worsens China's demand wars. China's consumer prices edge up in June, but deflation worries persist. Why? Why is there deflation if their economy is fine? And then they'll say, okay, I'll come to it. It's in a bit jumbled up manner. I'll come back to this deflation thing a little later. But look at this. There's a huge shift. There's a ground reality which is coming. Huge shift. Why learning Mandarin is losing its appeal in the West. There was a time, everyone said, oh, everyone should learn Mandarin because China is the next superpower. That will be the universal language. Everyone should learn. People were rushing to China. No one goes to China now. Mandarin, is increasingly not being taught in universities. And they are worried about it. That's why they come out with these articles. I didn't dream of these articles. These are all reference proof. Where there were 100 people, today there are 20 people. No one's interested in, a country like China anymore. Look at the latest, scam there. I mean, it's sickening. This is what happens in China. Like nice, colorful thing and all that. So these chaps used to make dough, colorful dough for kindergarten school kids and all, pastries, nice, colorful, like this, and give it. What was it? It was made out of paint. They put paint in this dough, and that paint had lead. People died. Okay. And the commentary is, these failures are common in a system where political performance is seen as the top priority and officials do not necessarily do what is best for the people. This is their own comment. 200 children gone. See, China kindergarten accused of serving lead-tainted dough to people, to children. That's the headline. This is in a video. People are making, bread in orange, yellow, blue colors. And that, have a look at it closely. And these are all made out of paint. Can you imagine? This is a today morning article, just 10 minutes before, I got ready for this podcast. I saw it and put it. The China lead poisoning disease control agency hospital faked results probe find. So they're faking. The faking in this country is to such an extent they fake themselves. That's the point. They're faking themselves. I'm looking at the human side of it. And look at this article. It says why millions in China are still quitting the national health insurance scheme. The people are not, they're just quitting. Reasons. First and foremost, the enrollment in urban and rural residents are decreased. Why? The premiums have gone up for that insurance. Incomes are stagnating. People can't. How can either I eat food or I pay for my premium? Because people's economics conditions have not changed. And it's a financial burden to pay for these premiums. And people don't trust the medical system. These are all words which are coming out of their own articles and their own grievances. And they say as premiums increase, medical treatment becomes expensive. And the scheme is not helping much. And the income from the scheme is lesser than the outgo on that scheme. And the government is not subsidizing. The government, very funny, the government doesn't subsidize health in China. It subsidizes EVs. There's something wrong with this country, isn't it? And you think it's great. Look, I can talk very equally badly about India. But at least in India, people, the chap who's sick, no, in India, he can go to the general hospital. He's got a primary health center. It might be useless. There are n number of stories which come out daily. This primary health center didn't work. There's that. Okay. We're not hiding it. And those staff don't bother. So the point is, these are all coming out. And why are they coming out such sob stories regularly? Every week, once, 10 days, you get this. This is yet another thing. He says, today's cry in China is, look, the mental health of people is being affected by this. Very interesting article if you read this. I'll read it out and explain to you my own view. In fact, why put it there? Let me start at the fundamental thing. See, the mental health of any person, you go back into your own time. It comes from where? It comes from your family. You have a problem in the house. It's your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunties, and your grandmothers who'll take care of it. In China, that family system is broken. A chap has a mental problem. Who does he go? He doesn't have a sister. He doesn't have an uncle. You don't have a sister. Tomorrow there's no uncle there. No auntie. Because your sister is not going to be... If you don't have a sister, your children don't have an auntie. As simple as that. One child. That family system is completely broken in China. That is why opinions like this are coming out. Says don't overlook mental health in the quest for China's innovative future. Obviously, they would have a mental health if robots are going to rule the thing. We say, oh, China, very good. AI, robots. They make more robots than anyone else in the world. So what? They're replacing themselves with robots. This is their future. And that is why Xi Jinping is unhappy. See, just think. Personal needs as resolving family disputes and all are left to the communist cadres at the bottom. So the communist chap, he only rules, he does all this. And then teachers. Teachers are supposed to solve the emotional problems of people. Of course, they will. Teachers will. There's no doubt. But how much can they do? Teachers are no substitute for family. And communist cadres are no substitute for mental counselors. You can't, this is their problem. It's coming. These articles said 1 year back, 2 years back, I didn't see. Today it's coming out. What do they do during natural disasters, accidents? They want to do, you want to control social order, you want to do counseling, you want to do politicking, everything. I mean, it is, they have no NGOs, there's no marriage counseling. They don't have counselors. Those who have don't get jobs. This is a country which is like a train wreck, okay, which is replacing itself with robots or idiots. And this problem has not started today. I don't blame Xi Jinping for it completely. It started with that great guy called Deng Xiaoping. And before that, Mao. Mao killed half China, the other half China. Deng Xiaoping killed with his one-child policy. So, I mean, you might think I'm being extreme, but you connect the dots and you see that it is not their economy alone. The social structure at the bottom is. This is what today, again, today's headline, which I picked out, or just 5-10 minutes before I started. Boosting suicide prevention must be part of Hong Kong's recovery efforts. Why? There's a spike in suicides in Hong Kong. Why? Because of all these things and the economy going down. People are really jumping off 20-foot, 20-story buildings. How do they prevent this? They only have one solution, एक robot बना दो और उसके against लगा दो. This is the China which is emerging. Please understand. Their consumer, everyone says consumption, consumption, consumption. This article, in Kexin, very interesting. Their consumption is fine. But in an old age society, the consumption pattern changes. I don't want a Ferrari. I want a good old Fiat car which will take me from place A to place B. Which are the places I'll go to? I'll go for a walk. I'll go to the medical store. I'll go to, small things. So my consumption is different. Old people, what will they have? They'll have heart problems. They'll have, stomach problems. They'll have diabetes. They'll have blood pressure. They need that. That's what they consume. You pass 60, all these will naturally come to you. You can't eat food. Some of these things are started affecting me also. I also don't go out and eat food. If I eat food outside one day, 2 days I'm down. I need a car which both me and my wife can drive slowly. The consumption habits change and they're limited. As you grow old, you realize you have more money than you need. Then you start giving charity. There's another opinion. Again, Caxon. End of growth at all costs. They started discussing this. Till now, growth at any cost was what they spoke of. Today they're talking growth, end of growth at all costs. Look at the cost. They have suddenly started, understanding where they are. So is there a fracture happening in China between the normal people and the CCP? Is China heading somewhere which we don't understand? Because we look at China as a monolith. We look at it from their shipping, their economy, their GDP, AP, OP, and how they are coming here and doing this and doing that. They're going to take over the world and they're going to be aggressive against India. Is that the China, or there's another China which we have to understand? Because look, whether I like it or not, China is a big economy. It's grown big. It might not be 18-19 trillion dollars. It will be 10, 12, 13, 14 trillion dollars. But still it's big. It double our economy. It's progressed. There's no doubt about it. But it has progressed along the wrong direction. And that is something which is coming out more often these days. Gone are the days when they say we'll send our navy here, we'll do this, there, and all that. But they keep bragging that we are sending someone to the moon. We are having a cure, medical cure. which will cure everything in the world. You have one Chinese medicine, then after that you can live for the next 100 years. All that they're talking nonsense. But is it helping them? But their home prices are still falling. People are getting poor. Weak sentiment is gripping the market. Why? Then they say we have strong GDP, 5.2%. But yeah, 5.2% GDP है तो deflation क्यों है? If your GDP is growing at 5.2%, why is there deflation? GDP came out sometime back. Oh, we grown at 5.2%. Earlier, last year and year before last, when people said, oh, China is growing at 5.2%, it made headlines. Today, no one's bothered. No, they're lying. Everyone knows they're lying. Who's bothered about that GDP? They're more bothered about deflation. Xi Jinping is unhappy because everyone wants to make AI. Look at the issues. You have to look at things beyond. Unemployment is still high, not going down. More graduates are joining in the stream. All this fun is happening in China. There are online scams, online job scams. And how much? Just see the jump. See, the correlation is this. They jumped 92%. Now, healthcare, people, someone who qualified in healthcare from great universities is selling ice cream. Why? Because no job. Buy a ice cream base low. So the university is embarrassed. How can this lady who's so qualified sell ice creams? But they don't have a choice. This is the reality, and these are making headlines. Someone says job creation. So, firms which hire first time graduates get some rebate, some 1,000 yuan or something like that. But that has to be balanced. You can't make jobs, there are fundamental economic imperatives to hire people. If they can't hire people, you'll be without this thing. As simple as that. The new thing which fascinating actually. In 5-star hotels, street food is being sold at street rates. That's to get people to stay in that hotel. So whatever you get on the street, at street rate, it's being sold. I mean, we have to understand this China. Then they're shutting down some of the think tanks because politically those think tanks have started thinking differently. Because if you think this particular think tank has questioned a lot of things in China, so they've stopped. They should not be allowed to think anymore. Band kar do. This is a country which doesn't have NGOs. If there are NGOs, they're government-funded NGOs for their party purposes. You can't think. You can only think the way that Xi Jinping says. And Xi Jinping is unhappy. He's only interested in AI and evolution and things like that. People, mental health, they couldn't care a damn. And all AI is worsening their population thing. So you see what all is happening in China. Very interesting. Economy is in one direction, the rest is in the other direction. Their military is also in the third direction. So we need to understand where China is heading. We only look at China Pak collusion, US-China trade war, China in Myanmar. These are the things which we see. But when you look at China and understand China, right? When you understand China, you have to look beyond what is the story there. Not the facade. Okay. So, right. With this, I'd like to thank everyone who's joined me today. If you like this video, do subscribe for it with a thumbs up. It's important because unless you put a lot of thumbs up, others, don't get attracted and the algorithm doesn't work. That's the first part. And do subscribe to the Gunner Shot. And, I'll try and bring such interesting things. Today morning, like for example, yesterday someone said, "Look, why don't you talk about Indian Ocean, all that?" I'd done a program earlier, so which I've just replayed today, so that it's you can have a look at it. It's an old video, but some of these things don't change. If there's a change, a focus, I'll put it. So do put in your requests as to what kind of videos you want. And if I have a video earlier which I've done on this, and nothing much has changed, I'll replay it. It might be old news, but fundamentals don't change in that. A lot of fundamentals don't change. The Himalayas won't go away. The infrastructure in India won't change overnight. What is there 1 year back and today, there'll be marginal change. Okay. So I have no problem, but let me know. And don't feel bad that I'm recycling these videos because it's based on what you want. It's not possible that, these topics are again presented when new topics are coming in. And I do understand you don't have many people won't know how to navigate into the channel and find what they want. So that's why I'm doing all this. Right. Now I'll take a few questions. Right. Prawal Sharma, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. And let me go to the top and see. Yeah. Sham Tarun, thanks a lot for your compliment. And Sundram, good morning. Prasannath Yadav, Parasnath Yadav, thanks a lot for joining. And Yogesh Badresa, thanks a lot again for your message. Yeah, please click the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on all notification, become a member and share your videos with friends. Hans, good morning. Ramki, good morning. Vishwanathan, also good morning. Rohan, good morning. John Doe, hi, it's always good to have you. And Vasu, also good morning. Right. So, voice. I'm sure my voice is okay. Indian Ocean was a great presentation. Why has the infrastructure gone blip? Boom, gone blip. The infrastructure boom has gone blip because it stopped giving them returns. As simple as that. There's no returns from infrastructure from whatever they've done. Every infrastructure has a limit. Beyond that, it's a waste. Okay. And coming back to the Indian Ocean thing, now 26th, 27th, I think Prime Minister is going to, or 25th, 26th, our Prime Minister is going to Maldives. So this Indian Ocean thing is good in that sense. So we'll analyze his visit to Maldives in the backdrop. This gives you a backdrop of what Indian Ocean is. Then we'll talk about it. I'll link that Maldives visit, all that with this. Right? Thanks a lot, Jeep, for your compliment. You spoke on P Gurus about anticipation of greater space collaboration between China and Pakistan. Could you elaborate on what this might mean? It means that, look, Pakistan doesn't have any space capability of its own. It is dependent on China. So, China might become the surrogate capacity of Pakistan. Look, today in battle, you need space hell of a lot. Even to survive daily, you need this, which is space, waste, right? Pakistan doesn't have all this. And today, Pakistan is slowly, getting onto the Chinese satellite system. They do. It gives them positional requirements and things like that. And that's very important when you're looking at long-range missile engagement and all that. And ISR, right? Intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, space-based. And if you have space-based and ground-based and you fuse the two, then you get a bigger picture. And that is what China is helping them in. Without that, Pakistan wouldn't have known what we were about to fire on them. What does this Western media talk about Chinese military technology being equal to the West now? No smoke without fire. What's your look? The technology from China is pretty advanced. There's no doubt. Their military technology, the way they've applied it into many of the systems, is quite okay. You have to take note of it, not get perturbed. But will it be useful in battle? We don't know. And then any system, especially the Western system, has to have a reason to develop their own stuff. Okay. And field it and get the comparative advantage. And that's what the West is doing. So they will talk. And a large part of it was driven by China in their heydays, when they posed a threat to the world. In my way, China is a receding nation. It's done. So there are, views coming out of the West also that look, all this is fake, especially after this two events, India-Pakistan war, Op Sindoor. People are convinced that the Chinese equipment is fake. I did yesterday morning a show on this. Second, the Chinese reaction to whatever happened in the Israel-Iran war has left people thinking, is China a threat the way it was portrayed? No. It might still be a threat in around the Chinese periphery. 2 years back, the Chinese were talking, oh, it's only a matter of time that our aircraft carrier will come into the Indian Ocean. Has it come? It has not gone 500 kilometers away from its own oceans, its own shore. They went, it, a Chinese carrier going east of Taiwan has made big news. Just east of Taiwan by 300-400 kilometers. They made news as if they've gone to the North Pole. Coming into Indian Ocean is far away. So, but 3 years back, 2 years back, when you analyze Chinese outlooks, their pronouncements, as if they had captured the world, and people believed it. All of us believed it. Of course, I was skeptical. I used to talk of it 3 years back. See my videos 3 years back. I was always skeptical about it because the fundamentals didn't fit. But, well, people had their views. So it is that which is, driving this. Of course, there's no smoke without fire, but that fire is weak. I think no money with them. Paisa gaya kaha. A lot of it has gone back to USA. Huh? Let me tell you this. Yeah. Thanks for the explanation on China. Yeah, that's it. China, which grew from US, Japan, and US EU manufacturing outsourcing, is now lying to the globe. I agree with you. The Indian media reported this all news. I don't know what you're talking of. Overcapacity is dangerous. What does the Western media talk about China military? Yeah, we saw this. Isn't it unusual for a leader to be issuing a warning over investment in any sector? Isn't that the job of some banking regulator or similar? I can't think of a parallel here with. Yeah, that's why I put this. Why is he unhappy? Things have gone out of control. There are two shades to this. One is they're recognizing a problem which didn't exist so far. Okay. Or they've created a problem and now they want to defuse that problem and they don't know how to defuse it. That's the first part of the story. The second part of the story is we know there's a power struggle going on in China. Yes, there is a power struggle going on in China. And of late, if you see Xi is coming out and doing a lot of pronouncements, it's virtually as if he's trying to regain control. So there are two shades to this whole story. Oh, today voice is amazing. Thanks a lot. He's in a good mood today, I agree. Everyone, please press the like button. Yeah, China lives daily life as though it's Olympics, too serious about things. Yeah, they're always running in a race, isn't it? And nothing more. Or Jugaad works best for us, adaptable, efficient, truly made for Bharat's. I agree, but at the same time, I don't agree also. Jugaad takes you that far, not more. That's the point. Okay. We need to be conscious of this. Yeah, Geetanjali is right. Humans and corruption go on hand in hand in every country. Only thing in China, it's crossed their own limits. Yeah, hello everyone. Kalarat, thanks a lot. Uh, China has a huge population that require rapid mass transport system. 1 billion travel many times a year to the distance home at a reasonable cost and zero pollution. Yeah, Ajit, all the best. There are good things in every system, but sugar is also sweet and good for the system. But too much sugar is too sweet; it will kill you. That's the problem. Technology will not replace people. A truism that has held true for a couple of centuries now. I completely agree. There's no doubt. CCP has destroyed Chinese society, marriage decline, gender imbalance, high youth unemployment. Once the family unit is destroyed, society goes down. That's the operative and the most important thing. You can't destroy the family. Subsidies ruin a nation, election freebies can too. Shouldn't Bharat's EC have a system to curb these offers used by politicians to win votes? I don't agree with you. Subsidies is planned. You see, the thing about elections and freebies and all, it's like this, very simple. So we know politicians across everywhere are corrupt. They make money. When it comes to elections, they have to give freebies to win votes. So they'll give freebies to people to buy votes. So all the money which is them has gone down. It has gone to trickle down. It has gone to the lowest guy rung in the ladder. And he comes back. He gets money. He'll live. There's a cycle. Okay, it is established. But this is not like subsidy. Subsidy takes money from the poor to subsidize the rich. It's ulta. Understand this. Or election cycle freebies goes, the money goes to the bottom of the pie. In subsidies, it's exactly the opposite. Money is taken from the bottom of the pie and given to the top. That's the thing. Yeah. First and biggest victims of CCP are Chinese people. That's it. I agree with you. The Achilles heel of CCP is the Chinese people. Opinion on rewriting of CBC history books in school. What's your take on this matter? Is it good, or you think no need? We need to upgrade history because a lot of our history is hidden from our own children. A lot of history which I learned later, I've learned is not that true. It's oriented to the British colonial period and probably a socialist tinge in it and all that. But it has to be done sensibly. And we can only leave it to the sensibility of our Indians to do what they're supposed to do. Heavy metals in the Himalayan pink salt, sawdust and spice powder, plastic in rice are a few things China has done to slander its own reputation. I agree with you. Good morning and a great start in the week. Thanks a lot. Good morning. Reappearing after a long time, Ashu's Chess Lab. Right. Yeah. Who cares if China makes fun of us? It doesn't matter. We should do what is best for us. I completely agree with you. Okay. Let me. How do we put up with the PRC's hit and run tactic of applying pressure on the border to salami slice and then find a solution in exchange for something? They bring it out of the freezer. Look, is it happening now? Is there any salami slicing going on now? That was long back. Okay. After Yangtze, October 22, they have not dared to do anything on the border. Please understand that. This is something which you have to understand. There are no surprise, there are no genuine NGOs in China because they cannot permanent political opposition. Democracy can handle opposition, but an authoritarian cannot. That's the fundamental. That's the fundamental thing. There's no doubt on that. The free trade agreement between India and European Union will come into force from October 1. No matter how much the world jumps around, it cannot do anything without India. Rare earth. Yeah, I agree with you. Rare earth in Rajasthan, let's see. Too far away. Yeah. Honestly, Indian family system is also destroying. Indian villages are becoming old shelters. India is also path forward to the West. Every Indian family system, I don't agree with you. We have problems, but I think we still have a lot of vitality in our family system. Okay. To some extent, what you're saying is right, but we are still better off. And, our religions will hold the family system together. The multiplicity of our religions will hold the family system together. Our tribal systems, if we don't break them, will hold the family systems together. Can we expect to see US and Western Europe trying their best to stymie our growth to prevent another? They can't do beyond a point. They will try, but not do beyond a point. Yeah, this is communists are image conscious. The system must be shown as superior to any other system. Everything else is secondary. It's a fact because if that doesn't happen, the system collapses. They will go out of power. They have to constantly prove to people that they are better than everyone else. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Jai Hind, Sood. How are you? Appears you're further east. Okay. How was how has PRC even managed to succeed to this extent? This country bars you from bullet trains and five stars if you default on debt and spends more on internal and external security. Look, that's the way they've gone about. That's the communist system. Every communist system, this is repeating itself. What happened in Russia? Maybe one of these days, you see, there are two streams of thought which are coming to my mind at least, and I've been thinking over it. Will China go the USSR route? Will China go the Japan route? Or will it be a combination of the two? And for that, we need to examine what is the USSR model and what is the Japanese model. We'll do that. It's only that I'm not getting time to do that, but I have the facts to do that. So one of these days, when I get adequate time, I'll handle that. And that's very interesting because the way I look at it, China is going down both paths simultaneously. At a societal level, it's going the Japanese path. At a political level, it's going the US path, USSR path. Where it is heading, I don't know. I mean, let me be very honest. It's going down. On that, I have not doubt. I still feel in 5 years, what China we are talking of will be far different from what it is. 2030. It might be 1 year here and there, or maybe 2 years here and there, maybe even 3 years here and there. But I put 2030. If my channel is still around by 2030, we'll discuss it. 80 million homes, vacant, ghost towns, bullet trains go empty, overcapacity, that's disastrous. Yeah. Think tanks that really start to think are being forced to shut down. That's it. I mean, look, many people might think what I'm saying is wrong. A lot of interest in the channel from China and Pakistan. You know, they curse me, they troll me, they call me all names. I have no problem. But all I'll request all of you is do come and have a look at comments which come and rebut them. But I have no problem. I'm going to continue because truth will always invite problems. There'll be disbelief. That's okay. China maintains an expert export version of its face like Shanghai, but never shows other parts of the country. I agree with you completely. Oh, love your energy and dedication. Thanks a lot. Uh, any idea India, any area India can leverage from China's technology and infrastructure in the future? We have a lot to learn. After all, if China has progressed so much, there's a lot to learn in their way they've gone about manufacturing, the way they've gone out their infrastructure. There's no doubt. And there's more to learn from what not to do. Their mistakes is not what we should repeat. Luckily for us, in a country like India, that problem won't really happen. Okay. But there's a lot to learn. We need to study China not to emulate them, but to do things better than them. It's not to do things, volumetrically more than them. That is not our interest. It is to do qualitatively better than them. Attack, attack. Hello from Norway. Attack, attack. Thanks a lot. Joining from Norway, it's great. Do keep coming in on and off. You'll understand. Norway is a good place. I think we are getting into a free trade agreement with Norway very soon. And Malika, thanks a lot. Thanks for attending the morning session. And CPC or Chinese army can do adventures on border to shift focus from internal problems. This is an important thing which I think you raised, and I have to examine this. There are two schools of thought emerging. The first school of thought is, look, China's military is weak, the politics is weak, everything is weak, so they'll not get into war. The second school of thought is, China has gone into war always, despite these. I think one of these days I'll have to sit and analyze the politics of what will happen. And if they do go to war, where will it go? Because actually today China is in 3 conflicts, actively involved in some form. One with Philippines, one with Taiwan, and the third is with India. How will these shape up in future is the issue. We'll discuss this. Maybe one of these days I'll do that. Krishna Reddy, good morning. Yeah, we don't need huge numbers for numbers' sake. I completely agree with you. Ankit also, vanakkam. Please talk about the personnel of PLA, how are they recruited and how long do they stay and what benefits do they enjoy. I've done this. I've done this a couple of times back. So, in fact, I've written about it also. I've done it in great detail. So, if you go to Gunnershot, my website, and say PLA recruitment, efficacy, and all, you will get my written assessment about this. Also, old videos. But notwithstanding that, I'll post one of those old videos for your sake, right? About the PLA. Yeah, thanks a lot, Tracer, for joining in. Right, in a new, I love you like in a nice, respectful way. I understand that. Thanks a lot for you. Selling street food at rates is a scene straight out of Dule Raja movie. Yeah. Look, what he's saying, Boj is saying, is that he's talking of a Hindi film, where I've not seen the movie, but I can understand the context, where people resort to odd things to get to the top, where a chap starts selling small things, and that is liked more than the bigger things. It's more a social thinking, which is projected in India through a lot of these movies. Yeah, devil's advocate. If we looked at daily India news, will it not look similar, equally bad in terms of people's dissatisfaction, unhappiness, hopelessness with respect to the system? Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Let me highlight it. Let me explain. Things are worse in India. Let me start with that. But we are discussing. No one is stopping someone from publishing. Okay. No one is stopping anyone from discussing it. No one is stopping anyone. You know, you take X, you take newspapers, you take. There are a lot of people who. I mean, I'll take Mr. Modi as an example. Not because anything else. Everyone understands them. There are so many commentaries against him today in India that he's done nothing. People have said he's surrender Modi, not Narendra Modi, surrender Modi after Parakram, after Op Sindhu. That's an opinion. That's democracy. Because someone has said surrender Modi to Narendra Modi, there are people who say, no, yeah, he's not surrendered. He's done something sensible. There are two opinions. We are debating. It is not that the other guy's neck is or head is put down and then no, or his head is chopped off or calling that. That's the daily news in India. You have local news, public news, yeah, everyone can see it. I'm happy with it. Someone is complaining, you have a way to go, do things, yeah, all that. But that's not there. That freedom is not there in, USA. I mean, and in China. Let me tell you, freedom is very important. I remember once in Northeast, things were tight. We were conducting searches, this, that, and all that. A tribal told me, he said, sir, your boys come. When they search vehicles and all, they come with a danda. And, at times they bang the danda against our vehicles and all. He said, why should you do that? Because we are also people of India. I 100% agreed with him. Why should we do it? You can search them. There are better methods of searching. You can tell them in a language they understand nicely. There's certain things you can convey to the people also, cooperate, all that. When I started doing that, things changed. Things changed. Why? Because I was prepared to accept dissent in some form. Things were not right. After that, also, I got complaints against my own people. And I used to talk back to them. I used to go back to the people and say, this is why I'm doing. I'm sorry. I've apologized to people for the wrongdoings of my men. Is the Communist Party doing that to their own people? That's the thing. That's what we need to understand. Freedom is something which, it's intrinsic in all of us. Yeah, really like what you told P Gurus about ensuring US cuts a deal with us on Myanmar. Didn't Ziaul Haq tell US the same thing on Afghanistan? You can't do it without me or call. Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah. Yeah, is there a super chat filter you're using? Unable to ask questions on China, DRDO, Taiwan. Are there any keywords so wide? No, I'm not doing anything. Vignesh, sorry, I'm taking questions. There's no super chat filter. I take questions as they come. It's not as if I answer questions only on super chats and things. If I go by that, I have only 4 today. But I'm spending nearly half an hour on answering everyone's questions top to bottom. Yeah, new people are coming and I'm answering. So, while the herd, not yeah, relative merits of quality and quantity, what is the best mix for India AD artillery 50% value? I'll do this some other day, because how do we plan and things like that? If you don't mind, because this will take me a whole session. In front of a white man, most Indians end up doing so. No, I don't think so. That those days are gone. If any deal happens with Pakistan on IWT, what would be the approximate percentage of water we get? Look, we already have a deal. The Indus Water Treaty is already there. Okay. So what's there? You need more water. The problem with the Indus Water Treaty, you have to understand is we're not able to use what water we already have. You're dreaming of water which we don't have. What water we can draw as per the Indus Water Treaty. We're not done that. It'll take another 10 years to even draw that much of water. We don't have infrastructure. Why are Indians obsessed with China so much? They're more obsessed with China than Pakistan at this point. I'm not obsessed with China. I need to learn about China because China is our future adversary, long term adversary. And that is why. That's all. And we have not read enough about China. And most of us are obsessed with China because we don't understand China. I'm not obsessed. I analyze China. Yeah. Whenever Western media hypes up Chinese military tech, there's only one reason: they want a budget from the government. I agree with you. Yeah, I'm here. No problems. Stressors have just say what you want. There's no problem. There is news of uranium leakages. Is true. Where? I've not heard of it. In Iran, maybe. Let me see. I've not heard of it really. Lot of propaganda news coming. This could mean a lot of problems. Yeah, completely agree with you. Yesterday, you were even more happy when you discussed India's achievements written in the Chinese media. Yeah, that's how it should be, isn't it? When your adversary finally acknowledges what you have achieved and what he has not achieved, is the way to go forward. You see, a lot of controversy has come. Oh, that is written by an Indian who's in Kashmir. Junaid Kudju or whatever he is. He's a Kashmiri. He's written. It's his view. It's not the Chinese view. I don't know whether it's his view or someone's view. He's written an article which has gone to, and it is published in a Chinese media, and it's an international media. So I analyzed it. Yeah. Yeah, do have extreme views, so I should just listen. No, you can talk what you want. There's no problem. When China opens Philippines or other front, should we open a second front in Himalayas? Are we ready? We don't have to. We need peace. We don't have to get into war. We need to clear threat in being. That's why I said let me talk of PLA military and whether it will go to war, why will it go to war, how we can avoid. We'll talk of that. Can you do a video on Pakistan's mindset with failed Chinese weapons with no affordable, credible alternative around? Face India's armed forces with their own weapons. Your thoughts? Sure, we'll do that. And to some extent, join in today. We're going to talk of Asim Munir, whether he's good, bad, or ugly for India and all that. Today evening, I'm getting General KJ Singh over, General Brigadier Arun Sehgal, and General Murthy to talk of this, right? So a lot of this will come out in this. India is a nation of rich industrialists, shrewd politicians, laboring middle class, and confused poor. Yeah. Yeah. Vishnu Vardhan says, good morning. Uh, is the BJP CCP talk really happening or just a ruse like that? I don't know. I mean, it came and it got reported. It got reported in the Chinese media. Maybe there is an outreach. Let us see where it goes. Presentation on PLA Northern Commands. Okay. Let me see. Israel has banned BYD for military people use as they find it transmitting data. Yeah, I also agree. BYD should be banned in India. Tracer is a Chinese Paki bot. Ha ha ha. That's okay, whatever he is. Let him be. Good morning, Uday. Yeah. When has America revealed how many soldiers, machines it has lost in Afghanistan? Has Israel done that? Has Russia opened up the losses? No country will open. I agree with you. So how does it matter? Geet, thanks a lot, right? Thanks a lot for your contribution. Uh, can China hide the negative things of its own country for a long time? Sorry, it can't. Yeah, he's calling me Chinese. Please stop him. Yeah, just reveal what you are so that you are part of the. Okay, you are an Indian Hindu guy from. Okay, I will take it at this point of time. Communists believe they are God. I agree with you. I was about to say yes, Tracer's roots have been traced to Altakia. Yeah. Thank you, Sir Jai Hind. My question was deleted, sir. Something is wrong. Someone, no, I'm not doing anything. You put your question, I'll answer. Yeah, the IDEX website is blocked. I have not checked on it at all. Let me check and I'll get back. Let me ask. Uh, in the Pahalgam attack, it is said that attackers were Pak SSG commandos and were roaming around freely. Any concerns? I don't know. I mean, how this will be addressed? A better internal security. I think there's a flaw in the way Pahalgam was guarded. They shouldn't have opened it without sanitizing that area. Unfortunately, in this whole story, that has got set aside. But things are happening that I know. Yeah, your thoughts on using Yunnan to screw China by joining? Maybe some other day. I have my thoughts about it, but it will be a full uh, presentation. Okay. Okay. I think we've done the deal. Ankit, put in your question. If not, put in your comment. I'll answer it there. I'll take it and answer it sometime. Thanks a lot for joining in today. Evening, join in. We are going to talk of Asim Munir, his personality, why will he become president, what if he becomes president. There's a very interesting and knowledgeable panel. Right. Till then, have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Have a great week ahead. And Jai Hind to all of you.